Hey, welcome. So today's topic is on visual learners, and I'm super excited about this one because I am a visual learner. So all the tips I'm going to give you today are things that I have used in my own life. But if you want to know about other styles of learners like kinesthetic learners, verbal learners, audio learners, check out my other videos on those. All right, so visual learners and study tips for visual learners. So I'm Janice, you're watching Sharp Cookie. This is the channel for learning, studying, and test-taking advice. I've been tutoring a very long time, have over 3,000 hours of tutoring experience, and I always like to tailor my sessions to the learning style of the student. Here we go. Now, before we get into the tips, I'm going to give you a brief overview about what a visual learner looks like so that you can recognize it in yourself or in your child or student. Visual learners are very good at visualizing, okay? So they can see images in their brain very easily and very well. So they have great imaginations. They often can see things in very vivid detail. So if you ask them to close their eyes and imagine what their bedroom looks like or imagine the face of their dog or their best friend, they can see it in detail. They can walk through their house and visualize everything. Now, visual learners are also good at interpreting visual information, and that means that charts and graphs are very easy for them to understand, and in fact, they prefer to take information through those types of means, visual data. The other thing visual learners are very great at is spelling. Why? Because in English especially, a lot of our spelling rules make absolutely no sense. But if you can see them spelled out in your mind, it's a lot easier. And that's what visual learners are doing. They can actually see the word spelled out in their head, and that's why spelling is really easy for them. Also, this is how they take in information. So they like to read information. For example, if they're going to a party, they want to see name tags. They'll never remember your name just by hearing it. They need to see it written and spelled out. And often, and here's the funny thing, not only will they remember your name, they'll remember the spelling of your name. Because again, they're seeing it in their mind just like they saw it on your name tag. Visual learners are also the doodlers in class, and this was totally me. My notebooks, all my book covers, they were covered in doodles. And that's because visual learners like to see things in pictures, and that's how they think. And when they're daydreaming, they're seeing pictures. So if you see a kid and they have doodles everywhere, don't think they're not paying attention. This is just a telltale sign of visual learners. And going along with that, they like all the visual arts. So they tend to like photography, they like drawing and painting, all of those things. So if you see a child that's really into the arts, especially the visual arts, they're most likely a visual learner. So are you a visual learner like I am? Or maybe you have a child or a student that is. Let me know in the comments. Really curious to hear from you and see what part of the description resonates with you. Tip number 1 for visual learners. Find a quiet place to study. So this is very different from the videos I did for my kinesthetic and verbal learners who like to have noise, they like to have interaction, they like to talk things out and be with other people, and that's how they learn. Visual learners get very distracted, especially with, as you guessed it, visual inputs. So sure, you can go to a busy coffee shop with a lot of people and a lot of noise, but you're probably not going to get a lot done, and you're not really going to remember very much. You know, you might have fun and enjoy it. Same with group projects. You might really enjoy it and like the socializing, but you're not going to actually learn very much. Visual learners need to have a very calm environment that doesn't have a lot of stimulation so that they can stay focused on what they're learning. So find that quiet spot, maybe it's at home or a library, but read alone, study alone. Tip number 2 is make your notes colorful. Because visual learners are so stimulated by pictures and colors, I recommend actually color coding your notes. So for example, you can highlight something green if it relates to one topic, something blue if it relates to another. And what this does is when you get to the test, you'll actually be able to visualize what color that note was. It's also fun. You can get different colored pens, different colored highlighters, and it'll bring your notes to life. Tip number 3 is make charts, graphs, diagrams, and images. So as you're reading, it's important to synthesize that information in a way that makes sense to you, which is usually a visual way. So if there's a way to take in the data and then make a chart about it in your notes, you should do that. Same thing with making a picture. Any way you can interpret the information and put it in a language that makes sense to you will work. Tip number 4 is outline, outline, outline. This got me through college with amazing grades, and it was all thanks to outlining. Because guess what? I could actually visualize my outline when I was taking the test. I could tell you where a certain fact was in my outline, what page it was on. I could even see where on the page it was, what color I had highlighted it. Outlining is great because it visually organizes the information in your mind. Chapter 1, subheading 2, subheading 3, subheading 4. This is great for visual learners. If you take nothing else away from this video, visual learners do best with outlines. And my last tip, tip number 5, is always sit in the front. Okay, I know this takes some getting used to. A lot of us want to pull back, sit in the back, and kind of be discreet. But I promise, because you're a visual learner, you need to see what's going on, more so than what you're actually hearing. You'll be able to visualize and memorize those slides that the teacher put up or what they wrote on the board. Those are the things you need to be able to see. And the other important thing is there's less distractions, visual distractions, okay? When you're sitting in the back, you see tons of students in front of you. You see a lot of stuff to the sides of you, like posters hanging up, and you're not paying attention to the lecture or what the teacher is saying. This was a game changer for me. I now sit in the front of all my yoga classes so I can see the pose better because I'm actually doing what I'm seeing. I'm not really hearing as much. I'm really focused on the visual component. So make sure whatever class you're taking, sit in the front, sit in the center, and you're going to have a much better learning experience. So those are my tips for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Let me know in the comments if you're a visual learner or you know someone who is. I'm always excited to meet other people who take in the world the way I see and take in the world. That's really exciting to me. If you find all of this stuff as fascinating as I do, be sure to check out my videos on kinesthetic learners, verbal learners, audio learners. It's really, really great to know not only how you process information, but how others do. So your partner does, your children do, other people in your study groups. This is so important. So check those out. It's also just really fun and kind of nerdy to geek out on this stuff. Also, join my Facebook group. It's called Sharp Cookie Community. On there, I give you free advice on learning, studying, and test taking. So go on there and ask me a question and you get my best advice. I also do one-on-one tutoring online. You can find out more information on that at hellosharpcookie@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos every week. I promise there's something fun and nerdy that you will love. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Janice. You're watching Sharp Cookie.